Hi, my name is Karina and welcome to the Karina Chronicles. Today I'm going to tell you all about the books that I've read in May. There are 4 of them and it's way more of a roller coaster than last month where I had all the same ratings. So let's quickly go through this. I've read 4 books this month and that is a little less than I want to. I always plan on reading 5 every month, but it's fine. I'm reading the Chronicles of Narnia at the moment, all 7 of them. So that book is 800 pages. I didn't expect it to finish it this month. I started it and that is something because it has been on my TBR and in my TBR videos since forever. So I'm happy that I started it, didn't finish it yet, so it won't be in this wrap up, but that's the reason that I only finished 4. Last month I only had 3-star ratings, which is not bad. None of those books were bad, but none of those books spoke to me. So for reading, that's quite annoying. You can better have like a bad book so that you have a lot of thoughts about them and are like, no, this is horrible. Or a very good book, but all meh books gets you into a slump. So I really hope this month would be better. And it is actually, or it was. I started off the month with not such a good book in my opinion, because the first book I read was Normal People by Sally Rooney. I heard great things about this book, but people that I really trust their opinions of really didn't like it. So I already was scared to get into it. This book is about 2 people, Marianne and Connell, and they just are, well, I explained it in the last video and I thought I explained it very well, if I say so myself. They were friends with benefits, but they weren't even friends. They were just mean to each other. They were like enemies with benefits, but also not that. They just didn't have any feelings for each other. They just had sex a lot. And throughout their lives, they become better friends and sometimes they hook up and then they go separate ways again. And we just follow both of them growing up. And as that can be an interesting thing, there was nothing more to this story. It was just about them growing up without something happening. And every chapter you had like 3 weeks later, 6 months later, 4 months later, and you learn nothing about their real development. You just see that they have become a little bit more mature. And I hated that. I gave this book 2 stars. And it's because it was so boring. I was really bored. I would have loved to see their developments, but not in this very weird way where you just have pieces, if you get what I mean. So, wasn't really happy. And then I watched the show, which is actually better. I still think people could find it boring because there's not that much to the story. But the actors are so good. So I really like the series better than the book, which never happens to me. So I would recommend that. Then the next book I read was actually a book that I had been looking forward to a lot. It was in my 5-star prediction video. And that is The Novice by Taran Matharu. And this book is about a boy. This young boy doesn't know what to do with his life. And then he gets from a kind of a stranger, he gets a demon. And I thought demons would be like zombies. But I was completely wrong. Demons are more like Pokemon in this book. And he gets a very rare demon from a person he doesn't know. And then with that he's going to an academy and is like, please teach me how to become a summoner. This series is called The Summoner, and the summoners make use of their demons to practice magic. And this sounds quite complicated, but it is not. It is a really interesting fantasy. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to part 2. It also ends on a cliffhanger, so I need to pick part 2 up very soon. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't give it 5 stars because the first 100 pages I couldn't really get into it and I felt kind of bored. And that is probably because I really hated normal people, so I was just not in a reading mood after that. But after the 100 pages, it gained some speed and I really, really liked it. But I could also not tell you much about the first 100 pages, that's how bored I was. So I feel like 5 stars wouldn't do it justice, because that's not how I felt during reading this. But I do really like the concept and how it turned out to be. So this could be a new all-time favorite series. It's just not my new all-time favorite book. After that, I read a short story, or actually, I don't really know when I read it, but after this book, I finally told you about the short story because I forgot to tell you about it. And it was My Mother's Eyes. Well, this is the e-reader. My Mother's Eyes by Jeremy Ray. I got this book from the author himself. He was like, can you please review this for me? Would you want to? And I had no high expectations. I even didn't have any expectations. I just read it. It was a 40 pages short story and I adored it. It was really sad, but so good. It's about a boy that loses his mother to suicide. So definitely look up trigger warnings if you are planning on reading this, because it can trigger you in many ways. But his mother is not dead, she's in a coma, but the chances of her waking up are very, very slim. And he tries to cope with that. And it's a story about grief, about love, but because it's told from the perspective of a child, it's really raw and pure and not complicated. It's just very clear what he feels. And oh, I love this so much. I gave this also 4 out of 5 stars, and I always need to give myself a reason why it's not the best of the best. I would not know how to make this book better than it is, so therefore I should have given it maybe 5 stars. But I gave it 4 because although it's supposed to be very sad, it didn't make me cry, and I cry quite easily with books. So if it didn't make me cry, then there was something wrong with it, but I really couldn't point my finger to it. So it's very close to a 5 star. Definitely would recommend. The author was very happy with my review, so he has sent me another book, which I'm really, really happy with. So I'm looking forward to read that other short story and happy to be on his ARC team. So really happy. And then the last book that I actually read this month was The Gifgave by Rani the Vadder, the first part in the Gifgenoten series. This is a Dutch YA, so not for everyone, but it's very interesting and very different from anything I've ever read. Mainly because the main character, Zaya, is not per se a good person. She is very morally grey. And that already makes it interesting, because I don't really like her, but it makes it for a good story that you never know what she's going to do next. We have 2 main characters actually, Zaya and Asper. And we follow Zaya mainly, but I think that will change in the other books, that we follow both equally. Because Asper is just someone that comes into the story later. And in this story, people can use magic in 2 ways. Some people cannot use magic in any way. And some people can do them in 2 ways, either with bones or with poison, snake poison. But with bones is prohibited, and with poison can kill the people and makes them evil. But it's not prohibited, which is kind of weird, but that's how it works in this world. And Asper is one that makes magic with bones, and Zaya was as well, but she gets changed in a very painful way to one that uses poison. And she becomes more evil every time she uses it. So very interesting, looking forward to see the rest of it. So those were the 4 books that I read this month. I am now still in the first book of the 7 Chronicles of the Chronicles of Narnia. So it will take me some time in June to actually read it. But I am really looking forward to reading it and completing it. And I'm happy that I finally started the book. As you might know, in June I'm organizing and hosting a readathon. I'm not going to tell everything about it because then this video will become too long, but I will link the video on the screen for you to check out. And I will also tell more about it again in my TBR video for June tomorrow. So you can look forward to that. I hope you participate in this readathon. I'm participating in 2 readathons, my own and the Desertathon. So a lot to take in and a lot to read. And I'm really looking forward to that. I hope you had a great reading month as well. And I also hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below what you have been reading, because I'm really interested to know. If you subscribe to my channel and you click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! My reading is really picking up. I'm enjoying myself so much, and I know the Chronicles of Narnia will probably put a hold on that for a while because it's so thick, but oh, I'm so enjoying my time.